Hello, everybody. The objective of this video is to give an example of data security and do step by step analysis and understand the entire data security in Salesforce. Right. So the way I have developed this is with an example, and anybody can follow it and do the steps I outlined here. So why am I doing? There are a lot of videos out there, and why this special video is made is lot of videos explain the concept, and you have to go and create your own example and practice. So the purpose of this is if you follow along and the word document I have put together, and there is a detailed exercise to prove each concept. And if you follow this example step by step, it takes about couple of minutes to do it. So what it is telling is it has validation at every level. What happens if you do this setting? What happens if you do that setting? How do you share the records? How do you share the um, records with everybody or within specific teams? So all these things are basically explained with an example. So instead of following so many things, if you follow this, it is a clear example of Salesforce security. All right, with that, let's jump in. I have an org set up ready to use for this demo, and this will follow this document all along, right? All right. Now let's see how it's Salesforce at a high level, right? Salesforce is like you for everybody you log in into login.salesforce.com or test.salesforce.com, and there is a security applied at different levels. So to simply tell, it is at org level. Org level is where you can log in, you can restrict by users, you can restrict login policies. So all those things where you restrict users to enter into Salesforce org. So that's at high level. So there are login policies, IP restrictions, and all those things. And when you come into Salesforce. So what do you do? First, let's say you have a hotel reservation. I always take this good example, right? So you have the hotel reservation. That means you can enter into the hotel and you have a right. You have a right to get a room. So that is something we call it as profile. Profile access is nothing but okay, there is a hotel and you can enter into it, and you have a right, you have a reservation, you can enter. And what room you will get within that hotel, there may be lot of objects, lot of rooms. Which room you will get is based on the key you will get. So the key is you can consider as a record level access. So you can enter a hotel if you have access. If you don't have reservation, you cannot enter. That's blocked, right? So object level permission, you have it, and when you go there, what actually which object and which record you will see is defined by the specific access you got. So we'll discuss all these in detail. So Salesforce data security. This simple picture here will tell okay. We have at org level security, you entered into Salesforce. You have object level security. That means which objects you will see, and field level security, which fields you will see within those objects, and record level security. So if you look at as an example, I have access to Salesforce org. I can see certain object, let's say account contact, opportunity, or any custom objects. So that is defined at object level security. And what fields I can see within contact? Can I see SSN? Can I see phone number? Can I see first name? Can I see last name? So we can restrict at field level for every profile. So these are defined in profiles and permission sets. So that's very clear. Object level security and field level security we can define at profiles and permission sets. So those two concepts we'll explore. And when it comes to record level, So record level is always who can see what records at basic level, right? So there is confusion at object level and record level. Sometimes people say, I have object level access, I don't see records, because these are completely different access levels. You have access at object means you can enter into the hotel in our example. If you don't have access to object, whatever access you have at record level, it doesn't matter, right? You don't have access. So completely different things. You can either you can see or what access you have at a object level, at a table level, at a hotel level is object. And when it comes to record, it's all about once you have access, what you can see or cannot see. Very simple. And we will see all those with the example. And within record level security, arg-wide defaults will tell basically the most restrictive setting security, right? And you open up, you okay, I have this private, will come to private, public read only, public read, right? But most you keep the restrictive and keep on opening it up. If you say it's open for everybody, all records everybody can see, there is no need of opening up, right? So always the recommendation is keep it as strict as possible and open it as needed so that it's more secure and you can always open up more access to everybody, right? It's very basic security example. Now we will see. So there are two points I want to highlight here. One is in profiles and fields, it's always most restrictive wins. That means whatever is least restrictive, that wins. In record level security, it's most permissive that wins. For example, OWD is most restrictive at record level, but the more you open, whichever is more permissive, that will win. All right. All right. So in profiles and fields, let's say you have uh, profile CRUD access, create, read, delete, edit. But at the field level, you have read only. That means you can only read only because that is the restrictive access at field level. All right. So that's it on these are very important points, and we'll jump into one example. Um, this example I'm taking as an app. I'm creating an app at high level. So creating an app, creating some roles, and creating objects within the app, and creating um, profile, and creating permission set, and creating roles and profiles here as shown here, and will play all different combinations with this example. All right. Now we'll jump into this example. And first step, what we are doing, so we are creating an app. Why I took this example is instead of defining your own thing, this document has everything. You can create an app, you can create everything, and you can practice here itself, right? So we'll create app here, and we'll go to this app. How do you create app? If you don't know, you can follow along, or you can simply go to setup, and app manager, new lightning app. I'll say recruitment, and I will take a picture. All right. So I will keep detail, and I'm not doing anything here. I'm not putting any um, objects as of now. I'll move on, and I will keep only system admin for now, and I'll finish, right? So what I did so far in this document, I created an app. Okay, that's good. Now let's create roles, and um, we'll will know why we are creating the roles in some time. This is all setting up the contest for our testing, right? So we'll go to the roles in setup, and the roles I am creating is the two roles here. I will say recruitment manager, and probably this role reports to somebody in the top, and recruiter is reporting to recruitment manager. So I created basically two roles here, recruitment manager and recruiter. Why we are doing this? To test role hierarchy, to test different combinations, right? So recruitment manager and recruiter. So these two roles here, very simple. You can click on role, and you can set up role, and you can set up the name and where it reports to. Very simple hierarchy here, right? Recruitment manager and recruiter. So that is step two. All right. Hope you are clear and follow along. And the next one is we are getting into the data setup. We'll set up the candidate object, right? So candidate object, and these are all the fields you can create. So I'll simply create quickly here. If you already know, you can basically look at the document and create. All right. So I created some examples here. Okay, for this per demo purpose, I'll create a new one. Candidate demo, right? So I'll say candidate, say as candidate, for example, just to simplify this. And you can keep candidate, that's fine. And I will simply save. Okay. So I'll go to the fields here, fields and relationship. So I'm creating these fields here just in case if somebody is new or practicing, that will be very useful, right? So email ID, I'll be quick on this, but email, I'll go next and say email ID. I'll not worry about the settings now. Let everybody see that. And I'll create one more, and phone number, salary expectation. So I'm keeping it very simple. So phone number, I'll go to the phone data type and go on here. Phone number, next, next, save and new. So what is the other one? Salary expectation. Salary expectation, I'll take currency, and so it may not be very realistic, but just few fields is enough. Right? So move on and next and save. So with this, the step 3 here, creating the object candidate, and we named it as candidate just to make it simple, right? So here we see candidate name created by, last modified by, and owner created automatically, and we created email, phone number, and salary expectation. All right, so far so good. Now we'll create another object called S position. I mean position, because just to name it for this demo, I created like that. And we'll go here, we'll create S position. So it is another object, as simple as that, right? And I go to the fields and relationships, and here, So what fields we are creating? Number of years experience required. So I'll make it quick here. I'll take a number here and move on to next, and number of years experience required. So for that position, I'm telling, okay, how many number of years experience required, right? So I'll move on. I'll click save new, and the next one I'll take created by is created automatically, last modified by, and location I'm taking. Location I'm just taking text. Let's say 50 and move on and save and new. And I will next do max salary for the position. Let's say currency, and next is max salary offered for that position, and I'm moving on and next and save and new, and owner is created default and position level, just to keep it simple. I will go and pick list and go next and position level, and you can try global pick list if you want. I'll select entry value, um, let's say intern slash entry level or experienced. I'll keep it simple. Next and next and save a new, right? I entered position level and next position summary. So you may not need all these fields, but I'm just creating here, so that our exercise is simple, right? Let's say 200, right? Move on and save a new. So what is the next field? Position type. So position type, I'm thinking full-time or permanent, full-time or contract. Right? So, so this is all data setup. I'm showing because if somebody is new, it's easy for them to follow along. And position level name is already default field. All right. So what we did, we created the field. So simple. It took few minutes, but it's good if you are practicing this, right? So what we did this, we created two objects, and the pick list values are here just in case, if you get lost in between. And next thing, we will create a profile. So how do we create a profile? We go to setup and profile. So profile and recruitment team. So I'll just delete this for now. Okay, you cannot delete, that's fine. So I just created. So I'll open that. If not, you can click on create new and then do that. So what we are showing here, we named it as recruitment team. And if you see what apps this guy has access this profile, only Suresh recruiting app. No, recruitment. I will change it. It was before, so I changed it here. So this is the app we created, recruitment. So this profile has access to apps. So this is again, um, security we are restricting in the profile at app, which apps can see. There will be different apps here, right? So there will be a lot of apps here, and you don't want to show this profile users, whoever user has profile, you don't want to see all these things, right? So we'll select recruitment app, and these tabs, I don't worry as of now because we restricted app and tabs. So I'll come down and, um, so most of the times when you there's another tip, when you clone some of the existing, you see setup and configuration, remove this. The users don't need to go to setup. And main thing is object permissions, right? So like we said, we have access, you have access to app, one level security. We are coming into that app, and what you want to show in that app, I don't want to show all these objects, the standard objects I removed. All I want to show for this particular profile is, so I'll remove all these things. So this is fresh, no access. And I want to show we created S candidate and S positions, right? So we want to give access to this profile for these two objects only. So according to our document, we don't want to give delete access. We want to give read, create, edit access. That means whoever gets access, they can only view, create, and read, create, and edit. They don't have delete access. Why we are not giving delete access? That we will use that as a permission set. So simple. All right. So I'm giving these two objects permission in this profile, and these are the password policies. It is again our security level, and I will save it. Right. So what I did here, I created a profile in step 5 here, and it is the recruitment team. These are the permission. So far, so good. All right. Next, what I said, we want to practice profile and permission set. So because let's say, oh, entire recruitment team, recruiters, managers, leaders, whoever, they will get this profile, recruitment team profile. But what if somebody wants to delete the records? So if somebody has this profile, they don't have access to delete the records, because we at profile level we said read, edit, create, but no delete, right? So I want to make sure at least the manager is able to delete. So what we will do, we know profile and permission set. Permission set is always to give additional access on top of profile. It will never reduce the permissions given by profile. Very important. Now we'll create a permission set for the delete, and we will attach that to the user. So profile is given to the user, permission set is given to the user. A user can have only one profile at any time, can have multiple permissions at any time. So, okay, that's the difference. So let's say I am creating a permission set for delete access, because by default, whoever has that profile, they don't have access to delete, right? How do we do that? Most of the times, see, another tip is, if you don't know a new admins or newly learning, you come to setup and type searching there. Most of the times, object manager, app manager, profile, permission set. You type there, you will get it. So then you can Google and do if you don't find it here, right? So what I'm doing here, there is no permission set created already, right? I will create new. So I'm doing delete access to recruitment team. So this is the permission I'm giving on top of profile. Let's say I will go and create save, click save. So here I am actually going to create apps, assign apps, right? So what I want to do is I want to give access to assigned in an object. I want to give the access. All right. Now I will go to my objects. What are my objects? S positions, S candidates, right? So I go here, I click edit, and I select delete access. So I'll remove this, I'll say delete. So delete means it automatically gets read and edit. That let's not worry about it, right? So okay, that's fine. This I will set up later. So read access, So basically I'll remove this. I'm giving edit access. Edit means edit and read, right? Delete means edit and read, right? So what I am doing in this particular example is all I created a permission set, gave delete access for S positions. That's it. Now I'll go and take S candidates. This is another object. I want to give delete access. Right? All right. At this point, what we are doing, okay, here we have like this, right? Here we'll do assign this permission set to recruitment manager later. Okay, we will create the user, and when we create the user, we will create this. Okay, before that, before creating the users, let's see create tabs for the new objects, right? So I'll come here. If I go to which app I created, okay, before going, let me save this. I think I saved it. Yeah. So before going to that, I will go to view all, and there is a little tip here. You can always move these apps here. So that's most of the times I don't need to go to everything. If I'm admin, I have more access, right? I can always drag it to the top and click on recruitment here. That's my app, and I am going to check if I have any tabs. Oops, I don't have any tabs. But where did my candidates and positions went? Now let's go and see why the objects are not there in the app. Your created objects app, they are completely separate. Now what we have to do, object we have to create as a tab, and tab we have to attach to the app. So simple, two-step process. So steps are here, create tabs for new objects. So again, how do you go? You go to setup, and what are you searching? Tab. How do you do that? You click on tab and go to tabs. So simple. And here custom object tabs. All standard objects are already tabs. We don't need to do that work, right? So, but I created as candidate, and let's say I selected a color and go next. So I'll keep it as, so here for recruitment team, it is default on. So that's fine. And we are giving to the all profiles for now. All right. Now I'll go and repeat the same one for another object. All right. So that is the step where we, okay, I just clicked twice. Okay. So as long as candidate as objects, our two objects are here, we're good. So that is the step here. We created tabs. Now, how do you check if they are assigned to the app is go to app manager. So again, when you want to do something with the app, go to setup, search app manager. So here there is recruitment app here. Click here, edit. So we are checking two things here. The first one is in navigation items. I want to add S candidates, right, and S positions. So I added the two tabs which are objects to my app. So if you look at the step-by-step process, we created app, We created objects, they are separate. How do we bring them together? Apps create them as objects, create them as tabs, and put them into app. So simple. And who can access this? Okay, cancel. I'll save this. And in when you are in the app, go to user profile, and who can access this, right? It's basic thing. I can give it to recruitment manager and administrator. Anybody else in the system, in the org, they cannot see it. Okay, that's simple. So it's explained here. You don't need to worry about it. So tabs are created. The navigation, it will be as positioned as candidates in our exercise just because it's already there, and assign recruitment team profile to the app. So we are good. Okay. Now, now, so we are getting into actual security now. Okay. We'll create three users, one with US and one with India recruiter, one with recruiter manager. So the way we are setting up, right? Two users at same level and one is with a hierarchy. If you see the role, recruiter, and recruitment manager. So all of them will have recruitment team profile, and the names are US, India, and recruitment. Imagine for this use case, a US recruiter, India recruiter, and their manager, right? And manager wants to see all the records of both the people, and this guy will not see this guy's records. So US recruiter will not see India's record, recruiter will not see US record, for example sake, right? So next we'll see, we'll see if I've already created the users. If not, we'll go ahead and create. So if I refresh here at this step in the recruitment app, let it refresh. Okay, so I am creating. So again, users, where do you go? You go to users, such users, right? All right. So here, I think I may have some users, but let's see. So I created user here. I will edit this, but it's same. I'll say US recruiter. So recruiter, I will just give a dummy example. Recruiter US at suresh.com, just to keep it simple. And role is recruiter, Salesforce license, and recruitment team. Okay, I'm giving the same profile for everybody. Note that point. And that's one user. And the second user is here. Let's say, so we can leave it like this, or we can just save it. Right here also I'm selecting the same recruiter and recruitment team. Okay, so save it. Now I'm creating the recruitment manager. So recruitment manager here. So here I'm selecting the recruitment manager role. Okay, he is in the hierarchy. Recruitment team recruiters report to recruitment manager, but they are all in the same profile. Note this point. So we created the users. So it's here, and yeah, right. So that's simple. If you want to double check, I have two users, two recruiters, and one manager. And in the role hierarchy, recruiter reports to recruitment manager, but all of them have same profile. This is the basic setting. All right. Now assign permission set to the recruitment manager. Now that we created user, we have the delete permission set. We'll give it to only manager, right? I will go to manager require recruitment. And how do you do the permission set? If you come down here, there is permission set assignment, and click on that and select delete access to recruitment team and save it. So far what we did is We created overall app, we created objects, we created roles, we created profiles, we created users, we created permission set and assigned to one user so that recruiters cannot delete a special permission, which is permission set on top of profile. We gave it to the recruitment manager. That's what we did. We did not test anything, but we set it up like that. Now there's one more setting before we actually test everything. We go here and we are selecting, we are making sure setting up org wide defaults. So here we will spend some time, right? So this is record level security. Now I come here, org wide defaults. Oh, I don't see any org wide defaults. So this is little different. How do we do that is sharing settings, not everything with the same wording. So here we go to setup sharing settings, and you can see what are the different org wide default settings and if there are any sharing rules, right? So if I go to my picture in the beginning, org wide settings, role hierarchy, sharing rules, all three. Manual sharing is manual sharing. You go to the record and share it, right? All three can be done or will be done in sharing settings. Very important, right? Okay. Now, what is the org wide default? Let's spend some time here. And what is grants hierarchy? And what is sharing rule? Okay. So for org wide defaults, for every object, we know org wide defaults at a record level. Now, let's see what options we have for our two objects. Okay. Our options are private, public read only, public read write. Okay. So what it means, okay, in simple words, if it is private, if it is private, only the creator of the record can see it, nobody else, right? If India recruiter creates, only he or she can see, nobody else sees, period. And public read only is the same US recruiter created a record, for example, others can see it, but they cannot edit it. It's only read only. If you say public read write, it's open, anybody can see and edit. So why we do this? There will be some situations where everybody wants to see everything, and there will be some situations they want to keep it private. For sales, it's a competition and they want to keep it private, nobody sees others sales records or opportunities or leads. Or sometimes when the team is working on certain concepts together or cases, they can, okay, they can say, okay, everybody can see everything. So there are different situations, right? And same thing here. And there are um, uh, external sharing here, default external access. This is when you share outside Salesforce, right? And there is one important option here, read write transfer. The transfer is only for certain standard objects, lead, case, like that. So where you can actually transfer the records. All right. So that's important. OWD is private, public read write. Three, very important and very powerful too. So always the most of the times you see people keep it private, restrict there and then open up. And some people are okay to pub, make it read only, but public read write, if you're doing, be careful, understand that because um, it's open for everybody. Okay. It's all depending on business use case, right? All right. So that's all here. So for our case, we'll go different options and we'll change differently as needed in the exercise. But let's look at what is the grant access using hierarchies here, right? So grant using access hierarchies, right? So in this example, we thought US recruiter, India recruiter, and recruitment manager, right? So US recruiter, India recruiter cannot see their records if it is private. Let's say if it is private. And if I don't check this, even the manager cannot see their records. All right. If we want to show these records created by everybody, in this case, both recruiters, we will make this enable so that manager can see. So simple. Role hierarchy is when you set this option, the people on top of your hierarchy defined in the role, they can see it. Otherwise, they cannot see it. Period. Very simple. All right. So that's all here. That is the role hierarchy. And the sharing rules will come to that. So sharing rules, basically what you can tell is you can basically, I'll show that here. Um, so sharing rules in the on the bottom, every object has this here. Let's say you want to share, create a rule. There are two things you can do. Let's say based on the record owner or based on the criteria. All right. So you can share, let's say a person is going on vacation and you can say, okay, all my records share with a X person, and once I come back, I'll delete the sharing rule. So only in this time they can take it. Or I can say based on the criteria, I'll say, okay, I can say, I mean, real use case, there may be a lot of fields here. I can say if it is high priority and if it is coming from US, certain customer, share with so many people so that anybody can work on it. But otherwise, they will be working in private, their own records. So we can share the records based on record owner condition or a particular criteria. So why do we do this? Let's say everybody is working on their own records and there will be a situation where people want to share. People go on leave, people leave companies, people change teams, so something like that. So there is an option to share based on the owner, based on the criteria. Okay. And once you are done, you don't want to remove, you don't want to share, you can come here. And how do you share that? You can share with public groups, and you can share with certain roles, or you can share with role and subordinates. So you can share with these type of people. And access level, you can tell, okay, I just read only or read write. All right. So very important in sharing rules is you can share by record owner or criteria, 1 point. And you can share with public groups, roles or role subordinates. And you can give only access, read only or read write, right? So they cannot delete. All right, I will not do anything here, and will now take examples and see how we can actually practice this one by one. Right, there are a lot of scenarios already explained here, and we'll discuss one by one. All right. So we are in sharing settings. We are looking at as candidate and as position. As candidate is public read only, and position is private. Okay. If we follow along, public read only and private, and we are granting access through hierarchy. All right. Now let's log in with users and create two records in each object, and let's log in and see. So simple. We are not doing any changes at this point, and let's see how the security is working with all the setup we did. Right now, I will simply, how do you log in as users? So I'll show that right here. Users, go to the users, and um, recruiter India, click on login here, and go to as candidates here, All right. So we'll create some records for now. And first we'll create the records and then we'll see. So India recruiter record one. Okay. So I'll say india@gmail.com, phone number something 111. Okay. So save it. I created one record for India recruiter, and I will also create another record for position, right? So I'll come here, click all and save it and click new. So I'll say US recruiter position record one. So let's say, so just some data, right? Nothing is mandatory. Developer, something like that. Okay. So let's say something, some record. So let's say we can create more records, but that's fine. We'll create one record just to keep it simple. So I'll say India record one. Now I created two records for India login. Now I will log out. Okay. Now I will go to user 2 and create the login, create the records. So it's little time taking, but if somebody is already experienced, you can basically jump into the document and practice this. Or if you want to just do a quick refresh security, we can come here and do that. Either way is fine. And here I'm going to US and logging in here. So here I'm just list views, I'm just pinning it, and I'll not test any security as of now. I'll just create US recruiter candidate and one some number, and let's say some number. Okay. Now I'll go to positions, clicks, and here I'll say US recruiter position record one. Okay. I'm just creating. Okay. I just created this records. Now I'm not doing anything. I will just log out from this user and let's see how we are expecting this to behave. Now we created records, right? Now let's see if US recruiter logs in and how he or she will see the records of India recruiter, right? So let's look at our org wide default setting. Candidate is public read only. That means anybody can see the records of others, but only read only. And position, I nobody can see others records at same level, right? So let's see here, US recruiter, the records created by US recruiter in candidate, because candidate object is public read only, US recruiter can see his or her records read write for sure, and own records you can always read write, right? And others, it's always about other records, others records. So records created by India recruiter, US recruiter can see only because it is public read only. right? And if you look at the candidate again for India recruiter, the experience is you can see US records only. Right? This is about candidate. We'll see all these things. And for positions object, because it is private, nobody can see others records. So US can see, US India cannot see. India can see India records, India recruiter cannot see US records. Simple. And a recruitment manager who has not created any records, but because the hierarchy relationship is given, hierarchy access is given, he or she will be able to see all the records irrespective of the OWD because they said grant hierarchy using access. Clear? Let's see. Let's log in with each user and see, right? That is the objective of this exercise. Now I'll go to setup. And how do I log in as user? I'll go to users. And I will log in as India recruiter. So when I log in as India recruiter, my expectation is I should see candidate object, my records read only. That means India recruiter records and US records only. My records read right in US records read only, right? India records, India recruiter. Let's see. First we'll go to candidate, read only, read write. So whatever is created by India recruiter. So first thing, both of them are visible, right? I'll go to India recruiter because this is created by me meaning whoever logged in. I say updated and save. I'm able to save and I can edit, I can save. Okay, then good. Now I can go here and I can click on US recruiter and US recruiter recruiter itself is the candidate object itself is public read only, right? So I am on candidate object record created by US. I see edit here, but let's see if we can really edit this. Updated and save. You will get an error. You don't have necessary privileges to edit the record, right? But you can see the record, but you cannot edit because it says public read only. Clear? This is good. This is good. Now the same India recruiter, let's go to the positions object. Position object is private. OWD is private. So that means you should not see others records. So in this case, only India user can see India recruiter position records, but not US. Let's see, right? Now I go to position subject. I see all here, no filters added, and I see only India recruiter record. Read write. I can read write, right? It's my record when I log in as India. But can I see US position record? No, because it is set as private. So this is with the example. We see India recruiter and candidate records and position records. Very simple. Now I can edit this. You can try. I will log out and log in as US recruiter. Okay. So when I log in as US recruiter, right? So the experience on candidate is very similar. US I should be able to edit, but India I should not be able to edit. So here I say updated and I updated here because I'm US. This is my record. I can edit, but others records in this case other Indian recruiter record because it is read only. I am updating and saving. It will not allow. It will tell me, okay, you don't have right access, correct access. So it's the opposite of what we did before because it is public read only. Okay, now go to positions. What should happen is because US user should see US records, there is no India record because it is private. Private is telling me only the owner can see it, nobody else can see it unless it opened up in the sharing rules later. Okay, so that is good, right? Now we verified US recruiter also and India recruiter also. Now we'll see manager. We did not do anything in this case, right? So what the he or she will see here? Let's see. Let's log in as US manager, the recruitment manager, and see what he or she will see. Okay. Mhm. Okay. Manager recruitment login. So in this case, what we are expecting is recruitment manager, read write, read write, read write, read write, because they are shared using hierarchy. Both of them are here. And I'll take one example. So I will edit. I'll change the number. I'll save it. So it's saved. So as a manager, because it is shared in the role hierarchy, the second concept in the OWD, I can see it. I can see positions. I can go all here and I can see it, right? This is very, very important, and we'll do more exercises based on this, but this is the core. When it is public read only, private, private. Okay, this we have confirmed. Now, now at this point, check permission set usage for recruiter manager. So what we did, we gave this access only for the manager. You remember? So because we logged in as manager, we'll see if he or she has delete access for these records, right? Let's take a position record and there is a delete option. Very good. For users, there is no delete access because at profile level, we said they cannot delete, right? Yes, candidate records, you can delete, right? There won't be any error. So that is the permission set. When you logged in as users, if you check the delete, there is no delete. I tried to click delete, there is no delete option itself in the options. All right, that's it. That's the step here. We set public read only and OWD testing is done and the role hierarchy testing is done. So if we go to our diagram here, so arg by defaults, public read only we tested, we can change it to public read write and test. It is similar experience, and role hierarchy also we tested. Now we will test some sharing rules, right? So the next one here is, all right, let's look at another example here. Um, so let's say we want to, the initially it is public read only and private position record. Let's concentrate on position record because it is private. Let's say the US recruiter is going on leave and he wants to give access, read only access, just to see how things are coming and if there is any change or anything like that. Just read access, right? We want to change this. So US recruiter can ask admin to create a sharing rule and give only read access, probably to all recruiters. And then India recruiter is part of all recruiters, so we can see it. Okay. Let's see how do we create a sharing rule. I'm going to admin again, sharing settings. So you can share sharing rules on the particular object. Every object has a sharing rules box here. I go to S position sharing rule. I am just creating one. So I'm telling here position sharing rule read access. Okay. So there are two options, right? Shared by owner ID or shared with a criteria. I'm selecting criteria. I selected criteria and I'm telling created by the user ID. How do I get the user ID? Is we can go to Workbench, right? Go to Sockwell and select the user query, user object ID, and I picked US recruiter and this ID. All right. All right. And I said share with who? A role recruiter. We can share with public groups, roles, and role subordinates, right? So I selected role recruiter. So anybody can see in that role for the US position records. It was private in OWD. I am opening up that access, right? Access level is read only. If I say read write, they'll see read write. Okay, I'm just saving this. So what I did in this case, I opened up access. Arc by default says private in the positions. I opened little bit in the role hierarchy for managers hierarchies, and also we opened sharing rule. So sharing rule in this case, we are opening the positions object for US recruiter records, and we gave that particular ID and telling all the recruiters can read it, right? Let's see. So in this table, you can test everything, but I will test this one because this is the only change we did. So India recruiter were not able to see the records created by US before, correct? Now we added a sharing rule. We opened up access. Now we'll see if India recruiter is able to see the US position records, but only read only, right? Now let's go here. I am going to, you know where to go, users and recruiter India, login, and you should be able to see the positions created by US also, right? That is it was not the case before, right? Now I am able to see US records because we add a sharing rule. And can I edit this? Can I edit this? Let's say something and say no, because I don't have access. He gave me only read only access, correct? Read only access. Now I can read. Now what we did in this exercise, you can log in with you, I mean different people and see everything will be same, but only we changed this, right? US recruiter can still read, right? But maybe he's going on leave, he or she added, gave read access for everybody, shared it basically manually. I'm sharing with them. All right. So that is one. So though the org by default says it is private, a sharing rule is created with read access for everybody with the role recruiter can see to see it, right? All right, that is one good example of a sharing rule. Clear? All right. Now let's go to the other option in the record level security is manual sharing. Let's say I am here. Yeah, let's practice manual sharing rule. Share India recruiter position records manually with read write permission to recruiter only. So in this example here, if you see, in this case, US recruiter is going on leave and shared his or her records with others, right? But US recruiter still not able to see position object of India, right? Because we only gave US recruiter records to others, but not vice versa, right? Now let's open that also with read write access. So what we are doing, you are taking US recruiter records, India India recruiter records access and sharing with US recruiter. So simple. Okay. We are doing the opposite way. We are opening this here. So how do we do it? You go to, you log in as US recruiter, India recruiter, and give your access to US recruiter. Just say you're going on leave again, and but you don't want to create a sharing rule which automatically sends all of them. I want to give only one a position which to work on during my leave, and I'll take care. None of them will be shared. Only one or two. So in this case, I logged in as India recruiter here, and I go to my position. This is my India recruiter position record one, which is my record. How do I manually share? I come here. There is a sharing here. So how do I do it? If you see the other option where we thought delete is not there for individual users, recruiters, because the profile is limiting it. That's why the recruitment managers were deleted. That's a permission set. Just because we are here, I'm touching that, right? Now let's say sharing rules, right? I clicked on sharing here and I'm sharing with US user. I can share with user, public group, role and subordinates. Let's say I am sharing with US recruiter. I will say read write. I'm saving. So what we did, we shared India recruiter manually told, okay, oh hey US guy, I'm going on leave. You take care of my record and you have read write access. Right? In the previous example, the India guy gave only read access. Here we are doing the different combinations. We are manually sharing the record. So this guy manually shared with one user. You can share with user group, role subordinates, right? So I shared it. So India recruiter shared this record manually with US recruiter. Now I will log out, right? Now I will log in as, what is the change here? US recruiter, and see, I'll go to positions. The first thing first, am I able to see US recruiter position record? Yes. So in previously, was I able to see? No. Now I am able to see? Yes. And US recruiter record. Okay, sorry, I have to log in as US recruiter, right? See, always one important tip is always log in as the users when you are actually testing your applications. This is the most common mistake people do, like I did. You log in as admin, everything works fine, and when you actually go into the user profiles, that people see problems. It's very common thing, right? Because profile changes, everything is different. So here US recruiter can see India record. That's what we gave access. Previously it is not visible. Now it is visible with the manual sharing. And can this person edit? Yes. So we gave read and edit access when we manually shared. So that is working fine. All right. So I'll summarize everything we did in this exercise is we understood there is org level security, login policies, IP security, and password policies, and all those things. And when you come to object level, field level, and record level, object level and field level are controlled by profiles and permission sets. And record level, we have OWD, role hierarchy, and sharing rules and manual sharing. There are few managed groups and hierarchy territory. For territory, we have to enable territory management. Um, Oh, those things are rarely used, but there are managed groups and territory and case teams, opportunity teams, the teams level. When you are working as a team, if you don't have access, you can do that. They're not widely used, but there are options. And we understood as an example, like a hotel, you have a reservation. That means you have access to that particular hotel in Salesforce language object, and whatever records you can see or cannot see is based on the key you will get the from the hotel once you enter into it. And in the profile level, it most restrictive events, and record level most permissive events, as we are opening up role hierarchy, sharing rules, and manual sharing. So we took an example of recruitment where we simulated the entire experience. We created two objects and we created a profile with no delete access purposefully. and we created a permission set to give that delete access, and permission set we assigned to manager. And we created objects, tabs, and attached those to the app, because objects and tabs are two separate things. Object and apps, we created object as a tabs, and tabs we link to app. So that's little bit app building thing. And then we looked at roles. We created um, roles, and next we created pro users. We took two examples, one US recruiter, one India recruiter, one uh, manager. In the role hierarchy, all the recruiter reports to reporting manager, and all of them recruitment manager, all of them have recruitment team profile, right? So, and we created the we assigned the permission set, and we actually tested each combination. We tested OWD, access, uh, public read only, and private. We created create one record basically, um, those objects, and we verified logged in as each user. And when it is public read only, candidate is read only, and private, not others are not able to see as expected. So no visibility, no visibility. That is good. And then we went ahead and changed shared rule, shared, and opened that read access to other people that we verified. And next step, we did a manual sharing with read edit, and that is also working, and we verified that. All right. So the net is, unless you practice with an example, it is very confusing. And what happens at profile? What happens to record? So that is the objective of this entire video. All right. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, enjoy and happy learning. And security is very important.